Hello everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. Sorry about the few technical issues. Everything exploded about 2 minutes before the stream was supposed to go live, but we're good now. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we're streaming from today and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. But we are here, we made it, and we're here with Bill Hope. How you doing, Bill?
Good, doing well. And congratulations to Flynn for staying cool and calm and getting everything back on track. Very nice to be back for another pet sketching session. I had a fantastic time on Tuesday, so we've got a couple that we didn't get to then that we're going to catch up with, and a bunch of new pets that people have sent through. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, we had a great time. I was just saying to Bill like how much fun it is just to kind of sit back and watch him do his thing. I can't believe how many we got through last time. It's been some great submissions that have come through. I think what happens is when Johanna is away, everything decides just not to work. I think yesterday my microphone wasn't working for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This time around, everything kaploded. So the lesson here is to just never stream without Joe looking after us. But yeah, should we jump straight in? I think you've got on your screen some of the awesome celebrities who.
Yes, yeah. So this is the cast that we came up with yesterday. So we've got a bunch of different cats and dogs sketched out here. We had all the kinds of different breeds that people sent through, which was fantastic. We even had some yard monkeys. I don't think we ever got to the bottom of whether these were real pets, the yard monkeys, but yeah, it was great. So I've got a bunch more submissions for today, and gonna get started. Awesome. Hello everybody in chat. Thanks. Sorry about the issues at the beginning. Might have kicked you all out. I'm not really sure. I had to restart the whole event over on YouTube and also Behance. So glad that you made it back in. I'm not sure if it kicked you out and you had to find us again or what happened there. But hello to Jessica. Hi, Steve. Where are we? Annika is here as well. Elizabeth, great to see you. Hope you submitted your pets. I hope those that have submitted their pets. I think it's quite funny actually. I heard from quite a lot of other people who sort of saw your post or my post and then reached out, and they were so excited to see their pet immortalized. Yeah. It's been really nice sending them back out to people, and people have been very nice about them. So it's been great. So I might just jump straight into it. So one that I missed last time was Archie from Laura. So we're going to start with that. We did a little bit of a sort of crash course on dog anatomy yesterday, but I think you all get the idea. We're just going to sort of jump right in. So Laura sent me little Archie here, and it's funny, Laura was one of a couple people who sent through one photo, and then sort of a day or two passed, and then obviously they came up with a cuter photo, and they came back to me and said, this one's better.
Do you think they went and took another photo?
No, I think... Actually, no, there were some. I got one first thing this morning with someone who'd found a cuter photo. And then some of these, I think people have just been sort of digging through the archives. And Laura sent this one to me and described this as little Archie performing the croissant, she called it, which is, I think, a classic small dog move. If you weren't on the other stream on Tuesday, where I introduced you to my new puppy Acorn, who is a big fan of the croissant, and they do look so cozy, and it's something about their ability to sort of have all their hands and feet up sort of next to their face all together. He sort of sleeps with his foot across his head, and it's very, very cute. So let me just, for reference, we'll put a real croissant in here, so you can see where we're going with this. Yeah, if anybody has any questions in the chat while we're going through this about drawing dogs or just drawing in general or all things illustration, we're up for it. So
looks like Metapod from Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, we better just give him a little eyeball.
I never realized that Metapod was basically a croissant.
Yes, there are so many. The first series of Pokemon seemed like a lot of them were quite creative, but once you get really later into the series,
feel like they
A
ran
lot
out
of
of
them are
ideas.
just they just totally ran out of ideas, and it's like it's ketchup-a-thon, and it's just like a bottle of ketchup with some eyeballs stuck on
Yeah.
it.
It's like a lamp and a coffee table that has
Yeah.
eyes on it or something.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, so moving on, we've got I think a slightly personal commission here from our very own Flint. So this is Goggles.
That's right. Goggles is in doggy heaven. Goggles is my wife's dog from when she was a little kid. This is the only surviving photo of this dog. You can tell because it's a like took a photo of it, and it's like a Polaroid basically. That's how old it is.
Yeah,
Not calling my wife old or anything, but you know, we've been around for a while, and yeah, this was her childhood dog that she loves. This dog used to live in the Blue Mountains, which is where you are, Bill.
Yeah,
And that's where my wife grew up. And dog used to be really good friends with a lot of the wildlife. So there was a bird. I can't remember what type of bird it was, but it used to fly in and just sit on his head.
really.
And they used to just hang out.
Oh, that's great. I'm very keen to introduce our dog to some of the local wildlife because we have some very friendly magpies that live in our backyard, but they're famously territorial. So I really want to establish good relations with the locals for young Acorn.
Yeah.
And I also don't want him to get sort of swooped to pieces as he gets older.
Yeah.
So hoping to establish some good relationships there. So I might just do a really quick sort of color wash over young Goggles here, just because he's not going to be right if we don't get those patches in. So I'm going to kind of do it backwards and just kind of knock down a layer there, and then I'm going to go back and erase into it to get our white patches on the very lovely Goggles. So we've got a little bit on his snout here, and he's got the white chest and he's got one white foot and some little white feet. He's actually got very similar markings to Acorn. Just what kind of dog is this one? Is it a border collie?
There's a border collie and cross Kelpie, I think.
Well,
It's a cross. It was a cross. Yeah, half border collie, half something.
Nice. All right.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. So we're moving on to, I don't know how to pronounce this one, but this is a cat called, I think, Maki or Maki or Moki, M-A-K-I. And this is one of the ones that was sent to me this morning. Apologize, everyone. I'm just going to sort of remove some of my winter wear as I warm up into the drawing. This is from my lovely editor at Scholastic.
Cool.
A couple of the sort of look and find books that I've been doing with Scholastic. So this one is Lorraine's cat. So when she sent this over to me, she remarked upon the nice little fangs that Makey's got coming out here. So I said I would try and transform Makey into a kind of adorable vampire cat. So that's what I've promised, and that is what I will try and deliver. No pressure.
Was that a request from Laurie?
Lorraine.
Lorraine?
No, she just wanted this picture, but I suggested the vampirification of the cat. Yeah. So let's kind of just knock out little Makey here. This is very, very cute. With her little fangs. And I was trying to look up exactly what kind of vampire wear is. I think it's just sort of like a long coat of some kind. So let's put a little pause here.
I like the pause up. It kind of makes me think of, it's really brooding. If it was a human, be sort of holding their hands up like here, but it's just the cat version. Which is nice.
Yeah.
What do we think, folks? I want to find out. Are you dog or cat people?
Controversial, Flynn.
I know, but let's do it. It's the second.
Trying to build community here.
You can say both. Say both.
That's true. That's true.
You
All
also
right.
don't have to pick dog or cat. You could be like rabbits are where it's at. My sister loves rabbits.
Oh yeah.
She's got.
Well, we do
she's got
have
kittens.
a rabbit coming in quite soon.
Hopping into the stream.
But very nice, Flynn. That's why they pay you the big bucks. But first, we're going to work on this lovely chap here, who is Barney, who I think is a British dog, from Lucy over in the UK, who sent this through. So I love the expression on this guy. He's got big nose up front, and he's got this fantastic moustache. So let's focus on the moustache first.
He's having like the best beach day ever.
Yes, yeah. He's got these very smiley eyes like that. And he's sort of very sort of floofy fur, and then those hilarious big sort of fluffy ears coming out as well. So I just have him sitting on the beach. So we've I think we got through 19 of these on Tuesday.
Wow.
We don't have quite as many to get through, so I might slow down a little bit with some of these and see if we can finish them a bit more, or we can sort of focus on them. But if anybody in the chat has any sort of suggestions or requests for approaches to take with some of these pups and kittens, I'm very happy to take them.
Well, maybe since we have a rabbit coming up, maybe the rabbit could be something that chat could help us out with. So like think about a rabbit coming up, and if there's any sort of artistic direction that you'd like to send our way, just let us know in chat.
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
if you're watching on YouTube or anything, jump over to behance.net/live. That's the chat that we're using today.
Yeah, and I can give you a demo of so with Lorraine, my publisher there. I've been working on another updated edition of the Easter books that we've been working on. So I'm kind of in a rabbit state of mind. I've been drawing a lot of rabbits all morning. So I'll show you the approach I've been taking to those rabbits. Okay, so Zoe sent through this dog. What kind of dog is that? Is that some sort of like pit bull or something? Or I don't really know dogs very well.
Got a little bit of pit in it.
But
it'd be a cross of some kind, I think.
Yeah, because I'm kind of unfamiliar with that one. I might work a little bit more closely off the photo for this one. And I'm gonna try and capture, he's giving a very sort of shy look, this puppy, but he's quite a tough looking dog, which is very, very endearing. So let me just see if I can sort of piece together. There's some of these dogs that have these very big kind of structural heads. So I'm just going to try and capture a little bit of that that shape. And then he's giving this sort of shy look from underneath his eyebrows. So
that feed me look.
Yes. What have I ever done to you? Look, which I'm getting more and more familiar with my puppy.
Festa said Count Catula before.
Count
for the
Catula.
cat. Yeah, I missed that.
Good.
That's great. Hello, Richard in chat. Good to see you there. Steve, it's great to see you here. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. Not 100% apparently, but it's always great to have you here.
Absolutely.
Gareth has mentioned used to have dogs, but have 3 Maine Coons and a ragdoll cat. I've always had short hair cats, but I always love the look of Maine Coons. They're beautiful.
Do cats like that shed? Like, are they covering everything?
I think they do a bit.
All right. Yeah, they are amazing though. Incredibly sort of regal looking animals.
And Steve said, I like dogs and cats, but cats are better suited to apartment living. Yes, that is true. I'm always amazed at how many big dogs I see walking around, and I think where I live is quite expensive and too expensive. And I see people with these big dogs or 2 really big dogs, and I'm like, man, how rich you got to be to have those dogs? Or do you have them in a little apartment? That's why they're out all the time.
Yes, I imagine that there's probably a strong lineup of those people and people who jog incessantly. You'd need to keep those dogs very well exercised. Part of the benefits, well, we think, hopefully, of having a little acorn who's very small legs, easy to keep up with so far. So I had someone send this wonderful dog to me on Instagram. This was another one of the dogs with an amazing Instagram page of its own, which unfortunately escaped me the name of the handle, but it was very, very cute dog. And I love I don't know what breed this is, but he's got an amazing character to his face. So again, I'm kind of learning some of these breeds as we go along. So just bear with me while I try and figure out what's going on in this one. So this one's got this very sort of shrunken snout, and he's got kind of like a ball-shaped head. And then he's got his little mouth coming up in that sort of U shape. But he's got that fantastic smile on him as well. And a little tongue coming out as well. So let's block that in. Very sensitive looking eyes on this puppy. It's amazing how long puppy eyelashes can be. They're quite sort of luscious.
I never really noticed like the dog eyelashes. It's not something I would think of.
Yeah, no, they've got very, very long eyelashes.
It was interesting what you were talking about yesterday. If you guys didn't catch the stream, talking about like kind of having the big, kind of anything with like a big forehead, if you want to make it look really cute, kind of like extend the head like a little bit childlike and I guess puppy-like as well.
Yeah.
It's a cool tip.
All right, and he's got that big kind of barrel chest shape. He's like a sort of big round jelly bean, this guy, and he's got these stocky little legs. They've got that little sort of, we did a little bit of dog anatomy yesterday, and we're talking about how this bottom of the leg is sort of it's all a bunch of sort of elongated toe bones that would be in a person. And I'll try and get that little sort of hook in his leg coming down as well. And little tail come out the back. Okay, happy with that little nugget. The gallery that I work, that I have some work in the mountains is one called the Lost Bear Gallery, and that's got a very popular gallery dog that's a bit of a sort of local celebrity, and he's called Nugget, and he's sort of a very sophisticated gallery dog that kind of just gets patted by people all day.
That's the life. Did we draw him yesterday?
No, I've drawn Nugget a couple of times before. He's turned up in a couple of artworks actually, but no, I don't think we drew him on stream. So this is Bruce, which is sent through by Eilish, and yeah, it's a funny photo. This one, he's kind of just like a big, massive fur right now. So let's see what we can do with young Bruce.
Like a walking mop.
Yes, yeah. There's been one thing about getting a dog. I have found that, first of all, we've needed to sort of clean the floors a lot more for various digestive reasons. But also just having a dog around, I think, has actually improved the cleanliness of our house quite a bit, in that he sort of is just a bit of a walking mop, and also seems to enjoy eating dust and cobwebs as well. So yeah, he's doing his bit around the house. Sort of struggling finding the features that face of this dog. It's all hair.
Yeah, because the eyes are basically hidden by the hair.
Yeah. We had to give Acorn his first haircut around the eyes because it sort of grows into their eyes in the breed that he is, and we've given him basically the equivalent of sort of like a dog bowl cut. It's a very rough job. But yeah. Right now he's not fully vaccinated, so he doesn't actually have to see any other dogs. So he can grow it out before he has to live with that embarrassment much longer.
It's the same reason I didn't get a haircut for about 9 months last year.
Yeah, COVID cut.
Yeah,
I've still got mine.
You look like your headshot photo now.
Yeah, I kind of just grow into that headshot, which was taken a long time ago. I really need to get something new. I think I just sort of decided I would stick with that shot for, I don't know, the past 7 years or something now.
You get to the point
Bruce
you're definitely not there because you still like look very young. You look exactly the same, but it's definitely like people out there who have the same LinkedIn photo for like 20 years.
Yeah,
Meet them
yeah.
in person, and like, that photo is from you when you were significantly younger.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm finding Bruce quite difficult. I think because of the foreshortening on his face, he looks a bit weirdly like a person right now. He looks like he could just be a very, very furry guy. That's okay. So who have we got coming up next? There was a rabbit somewhere along the line here, which I'm quite keen to get to. So let's see if we can get our little rabbit friend going on. Okay, thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. I have like quite a love for dogs that just have like people names. There's something really nice about that.
Oh, it was the rabbit next. So I don't know if there are any suggestions for renderings of this rabbit, but this is Moki, who I think was sent in by May on Instagram.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a very cute little flat out rabbit here. But what I might do is I might draw Moki in the style I've been drawing the rest of these pets so far. And then we can contrast that with how I've been doing my cartoon rabbits for the book that I've been working on.
Cool. How do you find that, like, switching styles, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, it's with something like this, it's quite sort of, I mean, I'm cartooning a little bit, but it's quite kind of representative. I'm sort of just drawing, I'm trying to draw largely what I'm seeing. So I mean, there's definitely sort of an inherent style that's gonna come out along the way. But I'm trying to just sort of capture what's actually there. But with the cartooning and definitely with what I'm doing with the book, I kind of need to really establish a template, because each of the drawings that I'm doing for the book has at least 100 rabbits on it. So I can't really be changing the approach to the rabbit. They need to look at quite sort of consistent across the book. So it's really about sort of establishing sort of the style of rabbit that I draw. So we've got little Moki there, and then
May's in chat as well, said, "Thanks, Bill. This is my baby Moki."
Oh, wonderful! Well, thank you very much for sending Moki through, May. It's interesting drawing a real rabbit there, because it's quite different to the rabbits I've been drawing for the book. But I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll just sort of loosely sketch one out first before I sort of finish it off.
It's an Easter themed book.
Yeah. So we had one come out this Easter called "Where's the Golden Egg," and that was really good. So we've got another sort of a new edition of that same book coming out next Easter. So I'm just working on a couple new drawings for that. Yeah, it's kind of like a look and find book. So it's one of those ones with really sort of complicated pictures and all sorts of things hidden inside the book. So with something like this, you can see I've sort of got quite a sort of formula that I'm working to. So they've got this body that's sort of like a jelly bean. We've got this slightly sort of triangular shaped head, got some big cartoon floppy ears on top, big cute eyes. I put eyebrows on it because you want like a little bit of character with it. I've got that sort of little button nose that they've got.
This is more like Disney style kind of thing, like something.
Yeah, very much so. And obviously the big teeth up front. So it's quite different, really, to an actual rabbit. But you're sort of trying to break down like what are the fundamental features that make something rabbity. So that sort of squished in little nose you can see on this rabbit here, like it barely comes out. Obviously the big ears, the big teeth, and a general feeling of bounciness is what I'm trying to instill here. So yeah, we'll just leave that guy in for a little bit of contrast.
That's cool. It's cool to see it like in a different style.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, May. You got two.
Got two. I'm trying to think if there was even a a third. Actually, don't worry about it. I'm not going to go out too much on a limb here. I'm pulling back from that proposition. Okay. All right. So we had this one come through, which is quite tricky. So I think this came through on the Discord. It's a lovely looking cat, but it's kind of just like a furry. I'm not quite sure what I'm drawing here. It's a bit of a furry smush. But this is Starcaster, who I'm sure is a lovely long-haired cat.
It might be the user as well. That might be the person from Discord. The name. I'm not sure. I just popped it in because that's the only name that we had supplied.
Yeah. Cool. But that's okay. I'm going to try and draw this cat upside down and see if I can get any of the features. I feel like it's all coming through a little trickier this time, but we'll do our best. So
it's a tough angle.
Yeah, it is a really tricky angle. This is hopefully some of my life drawing experience coming in. If you do life drawing enough is when you're sort of drawing from a live model, you get all sorts of weird angles where people sort of stop to really make sense as a human being at all and just become sort of this jumble of shapes. So you have to sort of try and get used to drawing things at very, very strange angles.
Is that something you still do, like online or,
life drawing?
Life drawing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do it all the time. I mean, I really don't do it as much as I used to, just because it is one of those things that, like, you can draw from a photo, but there's something about drawing from life that is quite hard to replicate. So I don't often sort of do studies for myself from photos. Sometimes I will, but I much prefer if I can make it to a class. And there are classes up here in the Blue Mountains that I've gone to. And it's really good, but it's one of those things. It's like, I don't know if you. Oh, sorry, I've completely misconstrued what was going on with this cat. He's got a arm up in the air. Sorry, I'm just going to fix that.
Oh, I see. I didn't see the right paw either. I didn't notice.
Yeah. It's all just part of a generally furry jumble, which is nice. Sort of ending up as a slightly sort of abstract. Let's turn it around and see what we're looking at. Oh, it's very different from this way. There's an interesting drawing experiment that, if anybody's watching is into drawing, wants to try, is if you are trying to copy something, it's actually a lot easier to accurately copy an image if you turn it upside down and draw it while looking at the reference upside down as well. And what it's doing is that you're focusing on the actual shapes rather than what you perceive something to be.
Right.
So if you're drawing a cat, you kind of have a relatively clear idea in your mind of sort of what a cat looks like, and that starts to sort of filter into the drawing that you're doing. But if you turn it upside down, you kind of lose that sense of what the object should look like, and you just sort of more accurately copy the image itself. It's quite an interesting experiment to do.
Okay. Is that something? Yeah, is that something that you would? Because you didn't start with this one upside down, you just kind of flipped it upside down afterwards. Is that usually the process, or would you start upside down and?
Oh no, you do the whole thing upside down, and then it's quite interesting once you turn it around. You sort of see what you've actually done.
Yeah, I've seen like some of those sort of, they go viral every now and then where there's someone and they've just got like, they're splashing paint on a canvas and it's like sped up, but it looks like they're spending about 20 minutes doing it. And then they sort of flip it upside down and it's a portrait and everyone's like, oh, wow, like that kind of thing. And I've seen in comments that people say, well, it's actually a lot easier to remember the process by doing it upside down and then flipping it around rather than doing it the right way up.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, it's funny how social media has really sort of supercharged kind of, I don't want to trash talk too many people, but kind of like art as a sort of performance or as a kind of, there's lots of sort of kind of gimmicky stuff like sort of like oh god, I'm going to anger a bunch of people here, but like you see all like the spin art and splashy art and all this kind of stuff where it's people sort of drizzling paints together and stuff that looks really cool on video. There's been sort of a real boom in that kind of thing, and I've even seen sort of like performance painters. I mean, I guess I kind of work quite a lot as a performance drawer, so I'm part of the whole thing. But people who would turn up to parties and sort of do cool abstract paintings, and they kind of dance around the canvas and throw things around. It's a whole sort of market for that kind of thing now.
Yeah. The internet self-feeding itself, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mercurial saying that you are able to draw at this speed and also talk is amazing, Bill. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Yeah, can't always talk. I'm trying to concentrate on this doc now. I don't really know what I'm doing. When I start off a sketch, I try and sort of have a little bit of an idea of where I'm going with it. But not sure what's happening with this guy yet.
I love these dogs that just have their like tongues hanging out of their whole
It's
head.
an extraordinary tongue. Look how long that is. What's going on with that one? Actually, I think a lot of dogs have really long tongues, but maybe you just don't see its full length. I remember we used to do a thing with a dog that I had growing up where if we had sort of like a bottle of apple juice that was empty or something, you would put it on the ground and he would sort of get his snout up to the end of it. And then his tongue would shoot out sort of like good 15 centimeters or something into the bottle, and he'd sort of just flap it around and get as much juice as he could. I think they're pretty extraordinarily long. All right, let's get a bit more of the mustache with this guy. Get his real smile going on. He's got those sort of baleful, I think is the word I would use for his eyes. That big black nose, and a bit more moustache there. And let's try and get a slightly more interesting pose out of this guy. So I'm going to go for a trot of some kind. I don't think this is particularly anatomically accurate, but let's try and get something a bit more illustrative or storybook out of our furry friend here.
I love the little like playfulness of the paw, like being like floppy like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Something if you can get that little kind of curl into it, it's really nice. And we'll make him a little bit sort of Harry McClary vibes.
Another comment from Misty saying, Bill is amazing. I have a hard time walking and talking at the same time. So, me too.
Well, I can't do that. I can draw and talk. I can't walk and talk. All right, there we go. Okay, so that was, I forgot to tell you who this was. So this is Ziva the Diva from Christine.
Oh, cool.
Very nice to meet you, Ziva the Diva.
I just love the names. Like, people are very creative with their pet names.
Yeah. We were going to call our dog Spud for a long time, and I thought, I don't know, I really like Spud. But I think he's slightly more sophisticated now, being called Acorn.
Acorn's cool. I like that.
Yeah. We've got Joanna's dog here. Is this Joanna of
our Johanna?
Yep. Fame? Johanna?
Yep, exactly.
Fantastic.
She's as mentioned before, our amazing mod. She's not here at the moment. She's actually in Brisbane at the design conference.
Very cool.
Up there at the moment, doing some podcasting stuff and everything like that. So
brilliant. Well,
very busy couple of days.
I can imagine. All right, I'm going to try and capture some of these sort of very sweet eyes looking up at us from a low angle. So let's try and get a little bit of that going on.
And we've got about 15 minutes left as well, ladies and gentlemen.
That went
and
quickly. Bill. Okay, great. I've just got, I think, 2 or 3 more to get through, so perfectly timed. Try and get those big kind of searching eyebrows worked in. And I might just change the pose a little bit. I'm going to try and get a bit more of a top-down vibe going with this pup here.
I like the light creating a rainbow.
It's very cool. It's sort of pre-Instagram filtered.
Yeah. Yeah, Festus. Steve said Acorn is a great name. Yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, what's his name? Like Acorn. I was like, yes, perfect. Have you ever seen you guys chat as well? Like, ever seen like you know, they say sometimes people end up like kind of looking like their dogs. I'm not suggesting that with Bill, but it is funny when you start looking around. Sometimes people do seem to personify the dogs that they have, and I wonder if it's that. I wonder what comes first. Like if people tend to go for dogs that personify them originally, and that's why it is. But when it happens, it can be really funny.
It's a great drawing sort of prompt as well. Like I've done quite a few drawings before of kind of like I'll just see if I can knock out a quick one. Like if you had like a really scruffy, grumpy looking terrier or something like that. Let me just see if I can bash something out. And then if you had sort of a old man in a hat with also a big moustache.
Like exactly what I was picturing. Like
Yeah.
it's the best one. The moustache is just like
Yeah.
they can basically have matching moustaches.
Yeah. So if we have this guy, and you can kind of match the body type and the pose and whatever else you like with it. But it's really fun doing drawings like this.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, good friend of mine, Daniel Iwanu, and he lives in New York. He's Australian. He and his partner has a moustache, and their dog has a moustache. And I'm like,
Yeah.
honestly, every time they take a photo, there's a photo on Instagram. I'm like, you guys go to the same hairdresser or something. Like it looks exactly the same.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we've got another tricky cat here. This one I hope I can pull off, but and it's got some amazing markings on it, this cat, but I really wanted to, I love that sort of like totally weirded out what's going on. It looks like a meme cat, like it's having some reaction to, I don't know, whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to see if I can do something to capture a bit of that pose.
Catcher. Perfect. I love these accidental puns you do on these streams. It's so great. Steve says, "Yep, he's seen that. Owners and dogs looking alike." Oh yeah, this is Cinder, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. I think this came from the Discord as well.
Yeah, this might be Mercurial. I think maybe I'm out of the Discord at the moment.
Yes, no, I think that was the name. I think Mercurial sent through a few of their pets, but this is my favorite one. So I'm just trying to get a bit of that going on.
And Mercurial was also saying in chat, had an English professor in college who absolutely looked like her French bulldog.
Yeah.
There's a question around the drawing as well from Misty. How do you decide where to start drawing the animal?
Oh, that's a very good question. Look, I mean, the obvious place for a lot of things is to start with the face, and I guess I'm kind of looking for. So I'm looking to sort of because I'm not doing any sketching, I'm kind of trying to mentally decide on what the form of the drawing is going to be before I get started. So with something like this, I knew that the easiest kind of anchor points for me is like the shape of the face here and the position of the nose. So I'll start with the nose and I can kind of locate that on the head, and then I can kind of work out from there. So it's about sort of deciding what these, what kind of anchor point that I'm going to use. I mean, you can just start sort of sketching the head. But with this one, if I were to do it again, I think I would actually, because I started drawing the head there, I think probably just because I'm not very confident drawing. I don't know, I'm not great with cats. But I think if I were to do it again, I would have started with trying to capture the shape of the pose, because that's kind of the most important bit, that head sort of reared back. So, I mean, yeah, it could be anything. It could be the starting point, but I'm trying to sort of just like lay down the best foundations for the rest of the drawing. So maybe the curve of the back there, or that sort of big burst of fur at the front, something like that, to give me something sort of just to kind of hold on to as I go through the rest of the drawing. Yeah.
I got to laugh at you saying I'm not good at drawing cats, and then you draw like a perfect cat in like 5 seconds. But I'll go with you.
Very kind. Okay, one of the last ones. Misty. Is Misty still in chat? So this is Fluffy, very aptly named. And I might try and sort of do a bit of a different angle cartoonify of this dog, because it's got such a great shape. So he's got this big nose at the front, his little eyes. I imagine him being a happy kind of dog. Eyebrows, but he's got this giant sort of poof of fur coming out with his little ears on top. And we've got quite a small body, and then this big tail coming out the back. Okay, we're going to go super cute cartoony with this one. So he's just going to be leaping through the air. So let's just try and knock out the form of Fluffy there. I'm a bit scared to try anything adventurous in terms of haircuts with our dog, but there's so much potential. It's like a little sculpture. You get to carve out every year of a new form of your dog.
Yeah, Misty is in chat and said this is after I shaved all the hair off.
It's a great look. I like it with some happy little eyebrows. And actually, it feels quite aggressive sometimes moving bits of the drawing around. But what we were talking about yesterday of sort of, that's kind of where the face of the dog is at the start. But I think I'm just going to move it down a little bit. I might even shrink it a little bit like we were talking about before. And I'm just going to position it slightly lower, give it a bit more of bit more puff on the top of the head. And one thing about dogs is because so much is hidden by the fur, you kind of lose sight of like, how long would that dog neck actually be between the body and the head? And it's probably way too long. So I'm just going to bring it down to a more, you kind of have to imagine what the dog would look like without fur, and then add the fur back in.
Right.
Anyway, happy with that little rendering of Fluffy. How are we doing for time, Flynn?
Yeah, we got about 6 or 7 minutes left. Went through those last 3 actually pretty quick. So,
well, I had one bonus one. So this is Luma, who I think might have been.
I think that came through our Discord. So
through Mercurial as well. And kind of like last time, I thought it would be fun to try a different style at the end. So I'm just going to quickly sketch like loosely the shape of this cat, and then I want to try something which I haven't tried yet, so it could be a disaster. We'll see. But I really enjoyed doing. There was one that we did yesterday, which was 2 cats kind of sleeping next to each other.
I really enjoyed that. I liked seeing that.
Yeah, it was really fun doing something a bit more kind of graphic or designy. And I thought the pose of this cat was really nice with its black and white. So I thought it'd be fun to try something a little bit similar with this one and just see how it went. So I'm just going to try and give us just a little sense of what this cat looks like. I think its head is slightly lower. It's doing that sort of the Exorcist full head turn that cats can pull off.
I know, right?
Yeah. So it's quite hard to look like I haven't just put the cat's head on the wrong way.
Head on backwards.
But I'll do what I can. So it's got a little paw there. So let's take that sketch and blow it up a bit more. And then I'm going to drop the opacity back on that so I can just see a very, very loose sketch. And then I'm going to grab the lasso tool, and looking at the reference of the cat and kind of at the sketch, I'm just going to start making a rough enclosure of where I think the black outline of this cat is.
Okay.
And then we're going to try and sort of fill that and see if we can come up with a quite graphic representation of this cat. So so it's quite a different way of drawing because you're kind of just thinking about the outline of what you're doing. So I've got those two big shapes there. I might reverse the lasso and just cut out part of the eye there. And I'll do the same thing for this eye. All right, and I'm going to grab my bucket fill tool and we're just going to sort of fill there. And then on a layer underneath, instead of doing it as a pure white, just because we're on a white background, I might just do it in a sort of a very light gray. So I'm going to select the white areas of the cat with the same lasso tool. There's a little bit of a foot coming out there. So let's just make that a light kind of gray. Then over the top of that, I'm just going to grab my lasso tool again and just sort of add in some of those little features. So we've got a little pink nose.
This is cool.
Cool. I'm going to add in sort of an abstract shape that kind of represents the ear of the cat. I might just do that a slightly lighter gray. And then we'll put in the eyes of the cat. I might just draw those directly on. Then it might be fun. I like doing this thing where you draw a line and it's got to sit against a contrast or something. So I'm going to draw some little whiskers there. But because they go onto the black, you can't see them there. So I'm going to select the black section of the cat there. And then I'm going to go into my whiskers layer. And I'm just going to click Command I to invert them. And then the black line turns into a white line. It kind of sits out a little bit more there, which is kind of
That's such a fast way to do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there was just a little bit more black
Would have thought you would have had to select the whiskers on the whiskers layer. And
I'm still in the whiskers
select.
layer, but I've just made the selection off the other layer. Yeah.
Very cool.
Anyway, it's not the best thing I've ever done, but
I like it.
as a fun kind of experiment in a different style.
It's super cool. It's like last time. It's just amazing to see like different kind of approaches to. There's so many different ways you can kind of approach illustration, and like you were mentioning before, I was going to ask, but mentioning before when you were sketching out, you were saying that because you're not doing a base sketch, that you needed to, you're doing it super fast, right? So you kind of when we were talking about the head and everything. So is your approach, if you were doing like a much longer sketch, I guess, like you're doing a sketch and then drawing back over the top, is your approach similar or is it a little bit different?
It probably is similar because you can't have you have to start somewhere. You're always going to start with a blank piece of paper unless you're copying over a photo. So it is a similar kind of approach, and I suppose I like using brushes like this one where I can do something really light, and so I can kind of mark out mark out an area that I'm looking at and then go back over it. So it's kind of like you're doing a sketch and a final artwork all at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, it's a similar kind of approach, and it's one of those things you sort of just have to kind of throw yourself into in terms of just drawing things over and over again until you have sort of a certain degree of confidence of where the bits go, and you just have to allow it to sort of be rough for long enough until you've practiced it to get it to a point where it's easy to do.
Make it look easy
in a faster approach.
Amazing.
Great.
We're almost out of time. Should we have a quick look through the little slow look, I should say, through the gallery of what we've got here?
Absolutely. So we started off with I believe this was Archie, our little croissant dog, and then we went on to Goggles, I believe.
Goggles.
And we had our rabbits here. We had Mackie, the vampire cat. A couple of nice dogs. I'm quite happy with this one, actually. I feel like that one was successful. Sorry, Eilish, I can't quite say the same for Bruce. I'm not totally sold on Bruce, even though he's a lovely dog. I just didn't quite capture him best I could. Yeah,
I
we
think
had
the difficult cat pose came through really, really well.
I'm quite happy with that one. Yeah. And that's the thing about this kind of sketching. You sort of like it's more about quantity, and sometimes you'll just capture the spirit of something.
Right.
So you kind of have to sort of like lose some of your perfectionist tendencies and sort of be loose with it. And if you get 3 great ones out of 10 drawings, then that's success. Yeah. So that's kind of my philosophy for this kind of drawing. And then we had little Fluffy, a couple more cats. We had our caricature dog and owner there, and we just finished with our slightly more graphic cat there. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So thank you so much, everyone, for submitting again. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you, everybody. Lots of fun and lots of submissions, which makes this sort of thing really great. Thanks for sharing your pets with us. We'll share this. Maybe I'll grab this from you, Bill, as well, if you're happy to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
And we'll post it on the Discord as well, so you can grab your little sketch and take it down. I'll be doing that for Goggles for sure. And that's it. That's it for today. That's it for this week. We're back. Adobe Live is back next week. We'll be back with Sophie Eleanor creating GIFs. So doing that live brief, which some of those GIFs will be used in some of the promotion and stuff we do for Adobe Live. So it's a bit of a live brief that we're doing there, and that's been a lot of fun. So we've got 2 more sessions for that next week, and then heaps more coming. Bill, have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you all again for your submissions. It's been a blast, and we'll be back next week. Thanks, Bill.
Brilliant. Thanks, Flynn. All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye, everyone.